I can't remember her name, an actress very famous, but she was meant to have slept with an entire football team, college football team, one night, which is not true at all, because the story was she had to have her stomach pumped out for semen. She'd swallowed too much semen. That story has now repeated itself almost every generation with somebody famous.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's never happened. It's bullshit. But apparently there's go around. There's a.
It was a rugby team.
Yeah. It was. Exactly. So yeah, that story's gone around. But not just women doing it; it's happening to men as well. And so.
It's like Chinese whispers, isn't it? Sort of thing.
Well, it was probably. It's probably come from a comment at the time, which is. And then somebody's wrong with it, and before you know it, they've added bits to it. And God, did you hear about the famous person she slept with an entire football team? Had to have a stomach. That's always a bit that's probably added.
Yeah.
So probably somebody's been telling the story that she slept with this entire football team, and then some guy's thinking that's not good enough. And
it's a good tag at the end.
Yeah, she had to have a stomach pumped out. And then people go, why did she have a stomach pumped out? And probably somebody said drugs, and then probably said, no, semen. She had too much semen. And then be like, yeah. But that's... So I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know that was bollocks about it. I actually thought Fatty Arbuckle had crushed a woman to death.
It was on YouTube. I saw a documentary.
Isn't there a chain of restaurants called Fatty Arbuckles as well?
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
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 But apparently the last day he died, he just got married and he started making a film again.
Really?
And he was so happy, and he said to his wife, oh, this has been the happiest day of my life, and he fell asleep with a big smile on his face and he died.
How old was it?
It's like 40-something.
God, well, he lived longer than you thought because of the size of him, yeah. He must have been riddled with cholesterol.
I think he'd have been good as a silent movie actor. Someone like you, like if you were.
I think so, yeah.
Era.
I think so because I've got quite an expressive face. Yeah, I think I could have done it. I don't think anybody would be as. It was really bizarre. I was growing up because we'd always watch Harold Lloyd. He was amazing, and we all know what happened to Harold Lloyd as soon as the talkies came in because he had this really weird voice. His career was over. And it was when I got older. I used to, growing up, people would say, "Oh, there's nobody as good as Buster Keaton." And when you're little, I just didn't appreciate it as much. But when you get older and you start watching Buster Keaton and you start seeing the stunts he pulls off and some of the moves, and you just think, "Fucking hell, this guy was better than anybody at the time. He really was."
Was he the guy that house falls down in the window?
Yeah. That became a common. I think Charlie Chaplin used that and so on. I think it even got used in a Laurel and Hardy film as well. Similar sight gag. There's I can't remember which one it is, Buster Keaton film. I'll try and remember before the end of the interview, where he slips in a bar and it looks like he's levelled out in midair before he falls. It's the most stunning. I don't know how they did it or whether they used anything. He was meant to be an amazing acrobat, but it's just one of the weirdest things you've ever seen. You see his feet come up and he lands on it. Yeah, it's bizarre, very bizarre.
Yeah, I was watching a thing that I also watched last night, a thing about Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
And his last film was like a Laurel and Hardy film.
Was it?
It's like Laurel and Hardy meet Dracula or Frankenstein or something.
Really?
Yeah, because he turned down Frankenstein, the original one, but then he ended up playing them in sort of parody ones.
That's right, yeah. It was, I sort of remember, I love Laurel and Hardy. Talk about them quite a lot, I think. Their
dynamic is really good.
They're amazing. This between them. I think you don't realise if you watch them carefully how good an actor Oliver Hardy was. He was fantastic, an amazing actor, fantastic actor, and this great fall guy. And these spats they'd have between themselves were funny. But I used to love them when they ganged up, when they decided to gang up on somebody, and they were a nasty pair of shitbags, weren't they? They were quite fucking evil. Some of the stuff they'd do to people, and I used to love that when they decided, all right, we're friends. We're always hitting each other and so on. But when they stuck together and decided to take somebody on, they were quite evil. They really were evil and hilarious for it as well.
I think Coogan and Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly are playing them in a biopic.
Yeah, I
think that'd be good.
I think so. Yeah. Who do you think will play Finlay Finlayson? You know, the Scottish guy who was in the big tash with the eye. Yeah, he was in about 20 of the films, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a good career. Yeah, he did well over there. But yeah, he was.
Who's sort of character actor?
Yeah. Where was he? He was. I can't remember. Is he from Edinburgh or somewhere? I'm not too sure. I'm sure he's called Finlay Finlayson. It's something Finlayson anyway. But he was great.
It sounds like a made-up name. Like
it does.
What's your name? Finlay Finlayson.
It was probably somebody on the run, wasn't he? He's probably got to immigration in America and panicked. He said 2 surnames.
What else sort of comedy films do you like from that era?
I liked all the Ealing stuff. There's a lot of the Ealing comedies were so good. Particularly, Lady Killers is a work of art as far as I'm concerned. The remake that was a letdown by the Coen Brothers.
I've not seen the original, but I've seen the.
Oh, that's what did you think? I mean, I didn't the original.
Think it was very good.
It's not very good at all. Watch the original and you'll see a masterclass. What Peter Sellers, like some of his stuff. The Marx Brothers, legendary. I mean, you watch the amount of times I've watched some of the Marx Brothers films, and you watch them over, and every time you see them, you watch it again. There's always a gag you've missed before. I don't even know there's a gag there. Oh, you pick that up. They just they must be the most gag-heavy of films. I mean,
it's like Naked Gun and that kind of thing. Where
exactly. You watch that. You watch Airplane again. Which I don't think it's aged at all because it's still funny. But you do. You just a little bit. You go, oh, I didn't even know there was a gag there, but I picked it up. Yeah, you've not recognised it. I think because you're probably laughing from the.
Lloyd Bridges is my favourite.
Lloyd. Yeah.
It used to be Leslie Nielsen, but every time I watch Lloyd Bridges going, looks like I chose the wrong week to quit MFit.
Two sons who did alright, especially Jeff. Yeah.
You think there's bitterness between them?
Jeff and Bo?
Lloyd, Bo.
Well, Jeff got the looks, didn't he?
Yeah.
And
I think Bo does alright compared to any other standard of actor.
He does, but I think Jeff Bridges is obviously the talented one out of the entire family. I mean, I can't remember the first film he came to prominence with Sybil Shepherd. It was a Peter Bogdanovich. I can't remember what it was called. I don't like it, but it's my favourite film. Apart from The Big Lebowski, which is a different. Something different, but Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, the film he did in '72 with Clint Eastwood. Have you seen it?
No.
Amazing. Jeff Bridges is fantastic in that, and so is George Kennedy as well, who plays a bad guy. He was a great actor as well. George Kennedy, you might know from Cool Hand Luke.
No, I'm not seeing Cool Hand Luke. I know the name.
Oh, right.
George Kennedy.
You've got an education. Watch Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. Jeff Bridges is fantastic, and so is Clint Eastwood actually, because Jeff Bridges steals a film, and Clint Eastwood lets him.
Yeah,
and he looks better for it. He's not trying to act with Jeff Bridges. He's letting Jeff Bridges steal the film, and Clint.
It actually takes me more skill to do that.
I think so. Yeah. But then there's a rumour, isn't there, that he didn't allow that to happen when he did. Well, he got pissed off with. Is he called Andy Robinson, the guy who was opposite him in Dirty Harry, the first one?
Oh no,
the guy who played the psychopath. Was he called Andy Robinson?
I think so. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, there's rumours that Clint Eastwood was so pissed off with his performance, basically outshone Clint Eastwood, that he ruined his career around Hollywood.
Oh wow.
He went around bad mouthing, and that is a rumour. If you know Clint Eastwood, don't tell him I've said that. Don't want to be sued, but that is one of the rumours.
Do you find that sometimes with like a gig or a comedy night, if you're on first or you're on before the headliner, you would maybe not do as well or pace it more so that your stuff is like the headliners, or if you're comparing before you bring an act on?
No, do you know what? It doesn't matter where you go. You've got a duty when you go on, no matter where you want to build, to do the best you can. The crowd that pay the money, you don't be thinking about who's following you and so on. You know, you do what you've got to do. That's why it comes with its own pitfalls. Closing, headlining gigs. That's why you end up with a big back catalogue of material, because there'll be subjects covered that you probably won't be able to cover because they've been mentioned too much in the night, and you just look like you're repeating what everybody else is doing. So yeah, if you're on before, it doesn't matter if you're on first, second, in the middle, or second last, wherever you are. You've got it's your job to smash the shit out of the gig. You've got to do as well as you can. Don't worry about whoever's following you.
Does the compare ever come in handy when you're?
Well, that's a different though for a compare. Now, a compare shouldn't be stealing the show.
Okay.
I mean, I do a lot of MCing, so I got a name when I started, was MCing. Do well, you get the room up, but don't make it your night. Okay. Don't do too long before you bring an act on. Don't. If you've got them up and you settle them down, you get rid of, get them refocused, and you've got also as well prepared to take a hit on the chin as well if the night's going shit. If the crowd are badly behaving, make yourself the enemy as the MC, but as long as the acts have a good night, you know what I mean.
So what if you're a headliner and they're not listening to material? Would you then go, like, they're heckling you, so you're missing your punchlines? Would you then go and start maybe comping a little to get them back on side?
I mean, I'd rather not be heckled, but I don't mind it. I can deal with it. And if it is a boisterous night, I probably usually don't do any material. We'll spend. It's really weird. I mean, you can spend half an hour just calling people cunts, and then afterwards they go, "Oh, that was a really good night."
Yeah.
Really? I didn't do anything. I just called you a cunt all night. That's all I've done. Because you behave like one. You're a massive prick. Oh no, we thought it was brilliant. You go, it's not though. That's not what comedy is.
It's when they're like, just take the piss out of my mate.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Unbelievable. And that's also anybody who does MCing or comparing will tell you that it's. We're on my mate's stag do. Here's a bit of paper. Call him Peanut Face. He'll get it. Yeah. It's not. It's only the 12 people who are on the stag do know what
There's
Peanut
all pointing
Face
each
is.
other like more.
Yeah, and then the rest of the crowd don't give a shit. So never do anything like that. If ever I'm comparing and someone says, "Oh, it's my birthday, can you do it?" I say, "I'm not a DJ."
Yeah.
I'm not a DJ. Go to a nightclub afterwards if you want to shout out, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah. What I remember speaking to you about. You told me when you first started you're not very good at taking compliments. Like somebody would say, "Oh, that was good," and you would convince them that it wasn't.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you find that with comedians are a lot self-destructive, kind of like that?
Well, I had to stop doing it. I was putting people off me. It was my agent she said a few years ago to taught me out of doing it. I'm just very picky about how my gigs have gone. If I've not enjoyed it, I've not enjoyed it. And so now, if anybody says, "Oh, I really enjoy," which they probably did, but I used to go through this process of telling them why they were wrong for it, and then you'd see them walking away going, "Well, it turns out it was shit."
Yeah. Oh, my laughing must have been lies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I stopped doing that now. I just say thank you very much, and then go away and ponder it.
I'm trying to get into a thing now where I'm trying to act the same if I've died or if I've done well, because if you died. You want to kind of acknowledge it to the other acts, but you don't want to be the self-loathing guy. Mm. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to keep, I died, didn't I? You don't want to be that guy, but you don't want to seem you want to seem like you know you've died. Yeah, well,
Sarah Millican's advice is you got until 11 o'clock in the morning, and then that's it, it's done. And it's a good bit of advice. I normally give myself until a couple of hours in the night, and then it's over with. It's going to happen, you're going to die in your ass. The longer you go in, the quicker you get over it. You recognise what's happened, and sometimes dying, sometimes funny, which can really piss a crowd off.
Yeah.
They really hate you, and then they're looking and going, "He's enjoying himself. What's wrong with the prick?"
Other comedians enjoy it more as well, don't they?
Yeah, I don't like... I've got friends who I find are very funny when they die because there's some of the stuff they go into, it just makes me laugh. But I don't like watching newer acts die because it makes me feel bad because I know what it's like. I was never like that when I started out. I never got enjoyment from watching anybody else die in their ass because I know exactly what it feels like, and it's a fucking horrible feeling. So I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But the worst thing is if you're sharing a car and there's 4 of you in the car and you're the only one who's had a bad gig and you're all driving back home and it might be a 2-hour drive. That's when it's the shittest time to have died.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have the piss taken out of you in the car for the... Yeah.
But I suppose better than that than everyone sitting there awkward, just afraid to say anything.
Oh, well, you've got to do it. It's the only way to deal with the situation. Yeah, it's the only way you can deal with it is to take the piss out of somebody who's died on that. Of course, it's not important. It's not important in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. You died on your ass in front of 25 people in an art centre in the middle of buckfuck nowhere. It doesn't matter.
If you see a new act and he's dying, can you tell if he's good? If that makes sense, can you tell if he's got something?
Yeah, usually. No. Sometimes you get it wrong, of course, but usually, you can usually tell by quality of the material. The delivery might be atrocious, but there's something in there. You go, all right, he's got. You can listen to somebody. You go, either he or she, they've got some interesting ideas there, or they sound like a comic. You can. Yeah. You can tell sometimes, and then you get too many, and it was the same when I started, but there's a lot more, it seems, recently, the last 5 years, where you're seeing the same and they're still doing open spots after like 5, 6, 7 years, and they've never improved.